was getting ready to leave, go out to my bike. It's a 2016 FJ-09, and I noticed that there's two huge bird craps on my seat. So I'm like, what the heck? Go inside, get some paper towel, clean it off. Ride home, all is good, and then the next day I come out here and I'm looking at the bike and I notice that there's another huge bird turd on my exhaust. And it's like a sniper shot. Came right down through this rear passenger peg. And it was pretty much at that moment that I decided it's finally time to get a new exhaust. So, this Tuesday, I ordered the FJ-09 full exhaust system from Black Widow. They're out of England. Ordered it on Tuesday, and today is Friday, and it showed up at my door. So 4 days from England to Indiana. And probably the best part, aside from how it looks and how it sounds, is that it was only $450 some odd. So I'm going to finally open this up and let you guys take a look at what's inside. And then after that, I'm going to run through a few quick steps to take the old one off, put the new one on, and then we'll do some sound tests with before and after, so you can get an idea of what you're getting into. And I have a feeling it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. So let's get this paperwork out of here and see how this thing will come to you. So I have not opened this up yet, so I'm pretty excited about what is going to be in here. Okay, this looks absolutely awesome. And as I'm putting it out here, I'll throw in some close-ups of it. So we got invoice, receipt, some instructions. Looks like we got a lanyard and some stickers. And oh boy, does this look beautiful. So you're getting a full system, headers and can, for $450 some bucks. Compare that to some other bigger name brands out there. It's a freaking steal. So let's get this out of the way here. And let's open up these header pipes. I wonder if I can cut these out of here. I'd like to save. Actually, you know what? There we go. So, we've got header pipe number 1 and header pipe number 2. Header pipe number 3. Oh, and it looks like they're all numbered, which is nice. We got 1, 2, and 3. And then we've got our, I don't know what you want to call it, collector pipe, something or other. Man, that looks freaking awesome. Okay. So, in these boxes, pretty nice packaging. All right, we've got some motorcycle exhaust assembly paste. Be using that. And in here, I'm assuming we've got our clips and springs and hardware, which we do. Got washers and bolts there. And then we've got our bracket to hang the can and our springs in here. And then, last but not least, we have this opens up like this. Our so excited. I really want to put this on tonight, but I'm not gonna. Of course, you won't notice that, but I'm gonna put it on tomorrow. So we've got our hanger bracket there, and then, poor dogs. This is what I've been waiting for. We have, comes in a nice bag that's got a bunch of styrofoam all over it, but no biggie. And I can almost guarantee I'm going to reuse this bag for camping stuff. Okay, look at this. Oh man. Okay, so this bag is actually clamped on through here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pull this out. No, I'm not. Alright, so I am going to clean up some of this packaging and lay these parts out and give you a close-up of what was in the box. Okay, so now I got everything cleaned up a little bit, and as you can see, they throw in a couple stickers, a lanyard, and there is your hardware, your bolts and the hanger for the can. Then they give you some of that assembly paste. Then you got your hanging bracket there, and then you've got the can right here, and it looks super nice. The baffle is still in there, and that will most definitely be coming out. Then over here, you've got your 1 to 3 pipe, whatever you want to call it. Welds and everything look excellent. And then you've got your 1, 2, and 3 header pipes here. And the same deal there. All of the welds look really good. And yeah, I am excited, to say the least, to get this thing installed. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen until tomorrow. But yeah, that's what you'll be seeing next, is just the quick steps to take off your original. And I might as well show you that bird turd. It's right there. Came in just right through there and just dominated that tailpipe. But we've got a new one for the birds to go after. So looking forward to this, and coming up next, we're going to take that original one off and get this sucker installed. Okay, so let's take this exhaust off. I'm going to quickly show you the different attachment points that you're going to have to mess with to get it off. I'm going to tell you what you need to do that, And then once I get everything broken loose and loosened up, I'll revisit those areas and we'll get this thing off of here. So to take everything off, I think right now you're just going to need a socket, a 12 mil socket with an extension, 7/8 inch wrench there, and then a 5 mil Allen. And I think that's all I'm going to need. I'm hoping if that changes, I'll let you know. So the first thing, I'm going to take this sensor clip off of this. That way I can undo the sensor from the exhaust. And then in the back, there's just 2 bolts, one right there and one right in there that you're going to take off. And then up underneath on the front, you're just going to take the 6 nuts off that are holding your headers on. So once I get all this broken loose, I will come back and show you taking the exhaust off. So first thing, your sensor down here comes up on a wire, goes into this connection here, and we're going to take that off. And I pre-loosened these bolts. They're not actually, they weren't hard to take off, but I did make sure I broke them loose before I started. So that comes off, and then you can undo the clip here and kind of get this wire out from there, and then you can hopefully pull this clip out. By pulling, there's like a little tab under there that you pull on that I'm having trouble doing right now. It's kind of a tight fit. There we go. This little tab, I don't know if you can see that or not, but this little tab you can pull on and it'll let that loose. Then this we can just tuck up there, and now we've got a loose connection here. Now I am going to, dang it, I'm going to take this bolt off of this side. There's one on the left side as well. And that was extremely easy. I'm going to take this side off, and then I'm going to loosen up the other side. Not remove it, but just loosen it up. And then do all the header bolts. I think I can grab this out now. Yep, and the washer. So there you go. On to the header nuts. Okay, so there's 6 of these bad boys. I'm not totally sure how well you're going to be able to see all of them, but okay, they're not super tight, which is good. I'm just going to loosen them all. Three on this side, and then I'll move to the other side and loosen those 3. Okay, and can't see that at all, but I think I got it. Like I said, I'm just going to loosen these up, and okay, that's real loose. And now I'm going to loosen that back rear hanging bolt. This rear hanging bolt, I'm not going to take it out. I'm just going to loosen it again. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to break the rest of those header nuts loose, and wiggle this thing until I can get it to move a little bit. So I took off some of the nuts that were holding the headers on, and I actually put some blocks under here with an old oily rag, putting some pressure on this exhaust here, because theoretically, once I take this last bolt out on this side, I mean there's only two, but once I do that, there's going to be some weight that's going to want to drop, and I want it to be supported at least a little bit, and you can tell there's weight on it because it's a little harder to turn, so I'm going to have to use this ratchet. No biggie, but so hopefully this will break loose and come on out of here. It's kind of really hard to get your hands into, and I'm thinking it might have been better because the other side's more accessible. It might have been easier. Oops, I think, not oops, but I think it's free. Either that or it is almost free. I'm going to put some upward pressure on this exhaust so I can twist it easier. There she goes. Yep. Okay. Can I get that bolt out of there? Yes, I can. Okay, so that back end is free. I'm going to loosen up the rest of the bolts up front so it doesn't put too much pressure on those headers. So I'm going to take the remaining bolts off of these, and you're going to see me finagle this ginormous exhaust out of here, and hopefully I can do it successfully. So it should be completely free right now, but that is yet to be determined. Get these guys down. Oh, she's wanting to walk. Okay, pull forward. We're through here. We're close. This should. Okay, well, I'm going to finagle with this. All right, so a quick update. I got everything broken free up front, and it's dropped free in the back, and it was actually really stiff in there. Those brackets were like wedged up in there. So it's broken free, but it's kind of just all tangled up, and I'm gonna have to finagle it out of there. So once I get it out of there, I shall return. All right, well this turned into a ginormous shit show. My bike is now ratchet strapped in between these two damn trees, trying to get the center stand on.
It's moving it.
Okay, so finally freaking got the exhaust off, and it was a huge pain. And so yeah, I basically tried to get it out of here on its side stand here after everything came off, all the bolts came off, no problem. Couldn't get it out of there with the center stand on, so like an idiot basically, I tried to undo the bolts with the spring still on, and that turned into a huge fiasco. And then basically screwed myself over and spent the last like hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe even longer, if I wasn't too embarrassed to say so. And then Amos came over and we got the center stand back on. And so the trick is to get this huge freaking thing off of here is basically have somebody keep the bike upright so it's not leaning over on its center or on its side stand, and then you can move this low enough to where it doesn't bottom out right there. You can take it even lower and it pops right out in like 2 seconds. So screw that thing, and we're gonna get this installed. So yeah, there we go. It's the next day. I finally got this off last night. Took way longer than it should have. So basically getting this cat down through your center stand is super tough and maybe even impossible if the bike is only on its side stand. So you push this down to give yourself more room, but you can't do it because it doesn't go low enough. So the trick is to either have a rear stand that lifts the rear of the bike up and keeps the bike upright, or have a buddy, which I had last night, just hold the bike upright, and so you can push this down far enough to get the exhaust out. So basically I was trying to get this out with it on like this, and then I decided to try to take off the center stand, and then decided not to, but I had already taken out this bolt with the spring on, and it just took forever to get back on. But I got it out, and so now what we're going to do is install the hanging bracket on the rear mount where the original mounted on the right side. Now on the left side where this mounts back here, there is a little washer and a sleeve, and you're going to want to remove that, and you'll see that when I put that hanging bracket on, but you're not going to use it anymore. And also you're going to reuse both of the bolts that held this cat up in the back. So let's get that hanger on. This is where your exhaust used to hang. There's 2 of these mounting points, and we're going to reuse this one, and then the one over on the left side we're not going to use, and you're going to want to pull out this sleeve and washer. It's just this piece right here. You're not going to use it, get rid of it, that way it doesn't fall out when you're riding. So this bracket right here is going to mount behind that mounting point. And you're going to reuse one of the bolts that held the exhaust on before without a washer, and then you're going to use the other one with the washer. Push those through, and then you have 2 lock nuts that came with the exhaust. Just thread those on. They're 1/2 inch lock nuts, so I'm just going to hand tighten those like so. It's not too hard to get to. And then they're 12 mil bolts, so just get your wrench back there and get that to the point where it locks on that washer. And I was on the wrong one. There we go. tighten up the other one. Okay, that one's getting tight. And you don't want to get these too tight. I'm not going to lock them in quite yet. Because I want to be able to move this bracket a little bit when I'm installing the actual can. And then once I get the can on, I will lock those in. Okay, since I left this overnight, I put some rags up in here to keep anything from getting in the engine here. And what we're looking for here is I'm just going to take off these gaskets because we got new ones with the exhaust. Okay, so that one already came out. So with that there, we are going to get the headers on. So I'm actually going to reuse the gaskets that were on here because they look perfectly fine, and it also makes this assembly easier because they actually stay in place, except for that one. Gosh dang it. Okay, and one more. Stay in there. Okay, now I am going to lift these headers into place with a little bit of luck. Hopefully this gasket will stay in there and not be a huge pain. So we shall see how this goes. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna try to get these in place and just get one of the brackets on here so it will hold the rest of them up. Get one of the nuts on there. Maybe get the other side on. And voila, we are in business. I'm going to get this bracket up there now, like so. Get this one under there, and then get the center one on there. And once they're on there, I will adjust them so they are in the right spots. Just lots of little wiggling going on to make sure everything is in place. Okay, so those are up. Headers are hanging there. So I'm going to tighten those up just a tad bit more, and then we're going to put our assembly paste onto the headers down here and get them installed. Alright, now I'm going to apply some of this exhaust assembly paste to the bottom part of these headers, and hopefully seal it up. It is definitely thicker stuff than I thought it was. Holy moly. This stuff is insane. Now I'm going to imagine that this is going to gunk out when I assemble these, but so be it. I'll clean it up. Alright. Got two there. A little bit more on this guy. And then get this last one done. Now the clearances on these are pretty insane, really. I'm a little surprised. It is very close to that oil pan. Very close. So we'll see how it looks here. Okay, I think that's enough. I'll take this glove off. And let's see if I can get this collector pipe on here without losing my mind. Oh yeah. That actually looks really good. So I'm gonna guess that's all the way in. I mean, I guess. Went together well. So now that that's on there, we'll move on to the can. Okay, so now to get the can in, you're going to slip it down with this ring over the end, like so, and then you're going to fix it back in through here with your hanger bracket on there, and kind of just slip it right into place here, like so, and then move your hanger to where you need it. You can let this bracket kind of hang loose at this point, and then I'm going to rotate this just to get it at the angle that I want it, like so, and then I'm going to lift this. Oh man, that is a tight fit for the old fingers. It wouldn't be so bad. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do. I could just let that rest. I'm gonna grab my Allen key. It's a 6mm Allen key, and this will allow me to get this bolt through the hanger. There we go. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to get that bolt through the hanger, as you can see here. That way
I can pinch it up, tighten it up, and then basically I'm going to finagle everything around, make everything tight, make sure I've got all my clearances that I need, and then we'll tighten that clamp down there and tighten everything up and see what she looks like when everything's all tightened up. So we're almost there. Now I have the can fitted. You can see the bracket there, and it's mounted there, comes down, comes through here, and up. So now it's just going to be more tightening of all the screws evenly, making sure everything stays in place. I've got all the clearances still, tightening that clamp, and I'll come back when I install the sensor, and we should be good to go. And I just got to wipe these all down to get all my fingerprints off of them. So the last thing I do before I torque down the header nuts, the 6 header nuts to 14 foot-pounds, is tighten up this last bracket right here, which puts the can, tightens the can down onto the collector pipe here. And it's a 10 mil socket, and just tighten that down. I'm actually gonna get this pretty tight. Okay, so yeah, definitely gonna keep going on that. It should collapse. It's got cutouts on the. It's still a little loose, I can tell. I'm surprised, actually. Okay, now we're good. Now it's collapsed on there. And that's not going anywhere. All right, so now let's just torque down those header nuts and install the sensor, and we'll be good to go. All right, so the exhaust is now completely installed with some bloody wrists, bloody fingers, but I think we're good. I would say the main thing that I've learned from doing this is, number one, definitely having a rear stand or somebody hold the bike upright so you can get the old exhaust out. And basically take your time when fitting the new exhaust, because there's just a lot of finesse and finagling to get all your clearances correct, and take it slow, loosen things, tighten things, move it around, make sure you're happy with how everything fits. And I've finally gotten to that point. So this thing's rock solid now. I'm going to pull on these springs, install those. There's two, one right here, one right here. Black Widow gives you a little puller. So very simple. You just attach one, pull back like so, drop it in, get the other one, and pull this one back. I'm slipping on this mat that I have here. You gotta push it in like so, and then you can just finagle this hook right out. And now there's one on the other side. I'm going to do that real quick, and then we will put on the sensor. Alright, so I got the last spring on, and now we're just going to crack this loose with a 7/8 wrench, and this pops right out. Just a placeholder for the sensor. I guess if you wanted to eliminate that or whatever, I guess you could leave it in there, but I'm not going to do that. So we ever so gently get this started. Come on. You can do it. It's a little wonky, I guess, actually, because of this wire here. But this is why you disconnect the cable, because you don't want this getting all super twisted. And then just give this quick torque. Shouldn't have to be too crazy. And then this can pop back down. You can fit this up into the little carrier down here. Shove that up in there. Actually, no. Want the sleeve to stay down there. And then you've got your pin right here, which has the connector right here. There's a little pin. You can push that in like so. Should be good to go. Snaps into place. And then there's a little nub for the wires to fit back in there. And then once we get this tightened down with the 2 bolts that I did bring back over here, they are right here. 5mm Allen key. Let's get those started. Get the top one started. And I don't know if there's a torque on this or not, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. It's just this bracket here, and I will give this a nice tug like so. That, do a little more. And call that good. Now we can stuff this back up into the hanger. There we go. And that is complete. So I already wiped off the exhaust, and so it's clean, and now basically it's ready to fire up. As you can see, it looks pretty nice and clean, and I will tell you this, the clearances down there, especially around your oil pan, are super tight. I mean, this thing hugs the engine like crazy. But there you go. So, looks quite a bit different from the stock exhaust. And it's definitely lighter. I think it's around 5.5, 6 pounds lighter than this humongous thing. That is just bad. But this is freaking awesome. So finally it's ready to go. And so yeah, let's get to testing. Alright, first startup, I'm going to check for leaks and let the paste harden up. Should be good to go. Let it run for a while at idle, and then we'll do a sound test again with the Tascam DR-05. So here she goes. so I've got the Tascam DR05 set up here. I'm going to get the stock exhaust noise just at idle, and then give it a few revs, and I'll cut to the audio off of the Tascam to give you an idea of what it's like. It should be fairly decent quality. So this is just the stock exhaust. All right, so that was the stock exhaust, and it was hovering right around the minus 29, minus 30 decibels. So when we get the Black Widow exhaust on here, we'll be able to test that against it. So next, I'm going to throw the Tascam under the seat and go for a quick ride. That way you can actually get a feel for what the stock exhaust is like when you're on the road. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so it's been several weeks since I got the Black Widow exhaust on. I'm finally out here on a dirt road by my house. I'm gonna do the audio test with the Tascam. So this is with the baffle in. I'm gonna start up the bike and let it run, rev it up, and when I start it up, I'll transfer the audio down to the Tascam. So let's get this thing started. Okay, now I'm going to take the baffle out and we'll do another test with the baffle out, which is how I normally have it. I actually haven't ridden this with the baffle in. I've done this, but I've never ridden it because you don't really need the baffle. So, alright, I'm going to take it out now. Okay, so you can see right here, there's just a little hole, and it's a 4mm Allen key. If I can get it started there, and you just undo it right there, and unscrew it. And I'm going to use a glove, and hopefully this doesn't burn the crap out of my fingers. Yeah, not too bad. There's the baffle right there. So I just popped it in for that short little test, so it's really not too hot. And then put this little screw back in, and I'll probably set it in the garage, and it'll be a long time till I use it again. Okay, so back now, got the baffle out, which you just saw. There's actually more traffic out here than I thought. As you might have seen, a huge semi freaking rolled through here like crazy. So dusty. Anyways, this is with the baffle out. Again, this is how I pretty much ride it all the time. And yeah, let's get this thing started and tested. All right, there you go. So you got the baffle in, you got the baffle out. Now I'm going to try to fit in a drive-by or two. We'll see. I don't know. But on to the next segment. just gotta put my gloves on. Then we're gonna go. Got some sweet fuel. Leather gloves from Amos. It's freaking awesome. They were a little tight. These are larges, but they've stretched out a bit. Alright. So. Going for a ride. Looks a little cloudy. Alright, so Black Widow exhaust. Had this on my bike most of the summer. And I couldn't be any happier, really. The bike has been pretty much perfect. So the Black Widow exhaust is just freaking awesome. It's just a cheap option, really, but the performance you get is just awesome. I mean, it's a little over 400 bucks, and it just sounds so good. And yet, it's not terrible on the ears. It really isn't. I don't know if you can tell, but it's really just not. So, anyways, Black Widow. It's an awesome day out. It's like October. Riding season. Or the good riding season is quickly coming to an end. Normally can still ride in November, December, January, although you got to prepare for it. But February, March, it just really kind of sucks. I mean, if you're lucky, you'll get some good days, but here in Indiana, it is kind of cold and snowy. And I also don't like to ride when I know there's a bunch of salt on the roads. So I kind of hold off. But duck season came in yesterday. Went out and killed some ducks, so that was awesome. But anyways, the Black Widow installation is easy. You see in the video, I was kind of an idiot with the whole center stand, but I mean, if I didn't deal with that, there's really nothing else to it. And this bike just has power pretty much everywhere, and it's just so awesome. It really is awesome. Most of the time I ride in standard mode, and I'll click it over to A mode right now, and you can tell the difference for sure. I mean, it is just right away, which that actually changed with the flash tune that I did from V-Cycle Nut, which I'll talk about here in a minute, but really doesn't take much. Even when you're in like 4th and 5th gear, it's just like nothing. So anyways, I just wanted to do a quick wrap up, really. Go for a quick ride. And basically, you know, say how awesome and how pleased I have been with the Black Widow exhaust. It's really been a great exhaust so far. No issues. And the bike too, no issues with the bike either. So, anyways, yeah, Black Widow exhaust. Hope you liked the sound tests and the install. Hopefully it helped you out. If so, subscribe, like, probably put more stuff out like this. So yeah, you enjoy the rest of your day.